Golokānanda भगवान की, जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। तो प्रिय भक्तगण, आज के इस श्रीमद् भागवतम कथा में आप सबका स्वागत है। तो शुरू करते हैं महाराज चरण से। जय राजा राधा गोलोकानंद भगवान की, श्री श्री राधा माधव की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगद्गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की। आप सभी उपस्थित भक्तजनों की जय जयकार हो। हरे कृष्ण। तो ये भक्तगण, इधर से आपका स्वागत है आज के सत्संग में। So we are reading from Srimad Bhāgavatam, 4th canto, chapter 24, text 33. और इस अध्याय का यहाँ पर इसको हम लोग कहते हैं रुद्र गीत। So अंग्रेजी is okay for you? English is okay for you? Good, okay. Because some Prabhuji they don't understand Hindi. Okay, Hare Krishna. ठीक है. So we are reading from Srimad Bhāgavatam, 4th canto, and that is also the chapter entitled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva. So शिव जी यहाँ पर हमको एक गीत सुना रहे हैं, इसको कहते हैं रुद्र गीत। जैसे हम लोग बहुत गीता सुनते हैं, ऐसे अलग अलग गीत हैं। एक गीत है शिव जी का, उसको कहते हैं रुद्र गीत। ऐसे श्रीमद् भागवतम में आप पढ़ेंगे तो देखेंगे भ्रमर गीत है, गोपी गीत है, अलग अलग गीत हैं। एंड सबसे प्रसिद्ध है भगवत गीता, जो भगवान श्री कृष्ण सुनाए थे अर्जुन को कुरुक्षेत्र के जहां पे युद्ध होने वाली थी, महाभारत। सो वी आर गोइंग टू रीड फ्रॉम टेक्स्ट 33। आप लोग बोलिए ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। साथ में बोले श्री रुद्र उवाच, जीतं तव आत्मा विद् वर्य, स्वस्तये स्वस्ते अस्तु मे भवता राधसा राध्वं सर्वस्मा आत्मने नमः। श्री रुद्र उवाच, जितं त आत्मा विद्वर्य, स्वस्तये स्वस्ते अस्तु मे भवता राधसा राध्वं सर्वस्मा आत्मने नमः। श्री रुद्र उवाच, जितं त आत्मा विद्वर्य, स्वस्तये स्वस्तिरस्तु मे भवता राधसा राध्वं सर्वास्मा आत्मने नमः। श्री रुद्र उवाच, जितं त आत्मा विद्वर्य, स्वस्तये स्वस्तिरस्तु मे भवताराधसारथम् सर्वास्मात्मने नमः। प्रभु जी। श्री रुद्र उवाच जीतं तात्मा वेदवर्य स्वस्तये स्वस्तिरस्तु मे भवताराधसाराद्धम् सर्वस्मात्मने नमः। श्री रुद्र उवाच जीतं तात्मा वेदवर्य स्वस्तये स्वस्तिरस्तु मे भवताराधसाराद्धम् सर्वस्मात्मने नमः। प्रभु जी बोलिए, ट्राई करेंगे क्या? श्री रुद्र उवाच जितं त आत्मा विद्वर्य स्वस्तये स्वस्तिरस्तु मे भवताराधसाराद्धम् सर्वस्मात्मने नमः। माता जी बोलेंगे? You want to try? Okay, ठीक है, चलिए. So we go for the word-to-word translation. बोलिए, Shri Rudra Uvacha. Lord Shiva began to speak. Jitam, all glories, te, unto you, Atmavit, self-realized, Varya, the best, Swastaye, unto thee, auspicious, Swastika, auspiciousness, Astu, let there be, me, of me, Bhavata, by you, Aradhasa, by the all-perfect, Radham, worshipable, Sarvasmai, the Supreme Soul, Atmane, unto the Supreme Soul, Namah, obeisances. Translation and purport by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki. आप बोल सकते हैं, you can repeat. Lord Shiva addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead with the following prayer. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories unto you. You are the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by virtue of all perfect instructions you give. You are the supreme, you are the super soul. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you as the supreme living being. Hare Krishna. So we'll read the purport. As soon as a devotee inspired by the Lord to offer the Lord a prayer, the devotee immediately glorifies the Lord in the beginning by saying, all glories unto you, my Lord. So here we see that Srila Prabhupada is explaining about, in what mood a devotee should be. A devotee should always be willing to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And as soon as the devotee comes to this level of glorification, so he starts saying, all glories unto you, my Lord. अर्थात हे प्रभु, आपके श्री चरणों में मैं प्रणाम करता हूँ और मैं अपने आप को आत्मनिवेदित करता हूँ. I am surrendering myself at your lotus feet. So the Lord is glorified because He is considered to be the chief of all self-realized souls. So जितने भी आत्मा हैं, और यहाँ पर बताया जा रहा है self-realized souls, जिनको ये ज्ञान मिल चुकी है, those who have got the knowledge, they have realized this knowledge about Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And what is that knowledge? What is that knowledge? That we are eternally part and parcel of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, and that we are His eternal servant. जीवे स्वरूप होई कृष्णेर नित्य दास. हम लोग नित्य ही भगवान श्री कृष्ण के दास हैं. So as said in the Vedas, in Katha Upanishad 2.2.13, Nityo Nityanam Chetanasya Chetananam. So the Supreme Being, the Personality of Godhead, is the chief living being amongst all living entities. So जितने भी जीव आत्मा हैं, तो भगवान जी कौन हैं? He is the chief. जिसे कहते हैं परम, सर्वोपरि, topmost. So the chief living being among all living beings. There are different kinds of individual living beings. Some of them are in this material world and some are in the spiritual world. तो जैसे जैसे हम लोग आत्माओं के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो कोई रहते हैं नित्य सिद्ध, eternally liberated souls, और कोई है जो नित्य बद्ध, eternally bound souls. So sometimes we have a questions here. We have lots of questions here. Prabhu, are we nitya siddh or nitya baddha? Are we eternally bound in this material world, or can we be promoted to the spiritual platform? Yes, we can. यदि गुरु की कृपा हुई तो हम लोग आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. शास्त्रों में बताया गया है, who is the most fortunate person? Who is the most fortunate? Who is fortunate, first of all? Fortunate. Those who have realized Bhagavan. Serving Bhagavan. Okay, Prabhuji? Who is Bhagyavan? Fortunate. Has started chanting the holy names. आपके हिसाब से प्रभु, who is the fortunate? Who is fortunate in this world? भाग्यशाली कौन है? भाग्यवान कौन है?
In my point of view, the guy who is chanting the name of Krishna, he is the more fortunate. Because in this world there is a lot of, unconscious and uncomfortable things are happening.
Jai.
The guy who is, chanting Hare Krishna, he is the more fortunate.
Hare Krishna. Very good, very good. गोपाल प्रभु, आप क्या बोलेंगे? कौन है भाग्यवान? Who is भाग्यवान? Who is fortunate in this?
I think the one who has experienced Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Who has experienced every day, every time.
Hare Krishna. Very good. Mataji, according to you? So all answers are all perfect, correct answers? Hare Krishna. और शास्त्र में बताया गया है कि ब्रह्मान भ्रमिते कौन भाग्यवान जी, गुरु कृष्ण प्रसाद पाई भक्ति लता बीज. So in this Brahmand means in this entire creation, we have 3 different levels. एक ब्रह्मांड में 14 भुवन है. We have 14 different planetary systems. हम लोग बीच में हैं, we are in the middle. हम लोग मृत्यु लोक में, भूलोक में. And as we move ahead towards the higher planets, then we have Bhuvarlok, Swargalok, then you go up, you have Janalok, Tapalok, Siddhalok, and then finally we reach Brahmalok or Satyalok. And when we go down to the lower planetary systems, here we start, you're going to have Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, Patal. So 14 Bhuvan. In this entire Brahman, कौन ये भाग्यवान है? ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते, भ्रमण करना. There are so many living entities. जहाँ पर we just read it here that the Supreme Being, the Person of God, is the chief living being amongst all living beings. There are so many living beings. But the chief is Bhagavan, Shri Krishna. But then, what are we doing? Brahman Brahmite. Brahman karna. We are just going up or down according to our karma. जैसे जैसे हम लोग कर्म करते हैं वैसे वैसे हम लोग इस पद पर आगे हम लोग बढ़ते हैं. यदि अच्छे कार्य करते हैं, if you do something good, pious, we move to the upper planetary system. We go to heavenly planets, Swargalok, and you move ahead. Depending. Now, if you're doing some meditation, you're very strict in your, in your vows of celibacy, your brahmacharya, following brahmacharya, आप में तेज है brahmacharya shakti ka, so what happens? You go a bit more ahead. But you don't go beyond Brahmalok. You won't go beyond that. And if you're not doing good activities, means maybe you are doing some activities which are not according to our scriptures. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So that will lead us to the lower planetary systems. तो उसमें क्या होता है? तभी तो we are going to be born in very degraded species. तो वही बताते हैं यहाँ पर, ब्रह्मान भ्रमिते कौन भाग्यवान जीव? Who is that most fortunate soul or living being? Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. Someone who has got the blessings of not only Krishna but also Guru. Hare Krishna. Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata bij. गुरु की कृपा से और भगवान श्री कृष्ण की कृपा से हमको क्या मिला? Bhakti lata bij. We have got the creeper of devotional service. So that person is fortunate. He is the most fortunate. Hare Krishna. So fortunate are those who are, they know about Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Now you have those who are more fortunate and those who are most fortunate. So fortunate are those who have taken shelter of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. जो भगवान जी के आश्रय में आए हैं, वो लोग भाग्यवान हैं. अब थोड़ा और ऊपर, a bit comparative. And who are those who are more fortunate? Are those who have the opportunity to do Katha Shravan. Katha Shravan. And the most fortunate are those who do Katha Shravan and Kirtan not only once, but Nitya. Nityam Bhagavata Seva. They are always glorifying Bhagavan Shri Krishna. बोलिए श्री श्री राधा गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय. जय गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण. भगवान जी की कृपा बने रहे आप सबों पर. So we pray at lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri Shri Radha Golokānanda, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, that we are always engaged in their service. Wherever, whenever, we don't know in what species will be born, but we can always pray to the Lordships that in whatever situation we are being put, we should always be glorifying the Lord and always be at the lotus feet. Bhave bhaveta bhaktir padayusta vajayate tata kurushva deveshu natastam yatah prabhu. Hare Krishna. The last to last verse of Srimad Bhāgavatam. So here we see that Lord Shiva is glorifying Bhagavan Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through his wonderful song, the Rudra Geet. So आगे बढ़ते हैं. So those who are in the spiritual world, we are talking about individual beings who are either eternally bound or eternally liberated. So those who are in the spiritual world are known to be completely self-realized, because on the spiritual platform, the living entity is not forgetful of his service to the Lord. So what is the difference between those souls, self-realized souls, who are, you should say, always or eternally liberated, and those who are nityabad, eternally bound? There's a very simple difference in there. Those who are eternally liberated, they are always thinking of Lord Shri Krishna. And they never forget Bhagavan Shri Krishna. They're not forgetful of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. But those who are eternally bound in this material world, they have forgotten Bhagavan Shri Krishna. This is the simplest comparison that we can do. They have forgotten Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And once you forget Bhagavan Shri Krishna, what happens? Then Lord Shri Krishna's external potency, energy, that goes on Maya. Maya ke changul mein hum log phas jate hain. We are kind of bound by the material energy of the Lord. So we have to be always, we should always meditate on Bhagavan Shri Krishna. What should we do exactly? This is what in Srimad Bhāgavatam the question was asked by Parikshit Maharaj. He asked a very beautiful question, a very important question to Srila Sukadeva Goswami. So what should a person do when he is about to leave his body? जब कोई शरीर त्यागने वाला है, उसको क्या करना चाहिए? What is his duty?
Remember the name of Krishna.
Yeah, so remember Bhagavan Shri Krishna. But then throughout our life, we have to mold our activities in such a way that we are always performing some devotional service. Even if you are working, you are at the office, no one can come and tell you, okay, your mind, your mind is not yours. You have to engage your mind fully in your work. No, you can be there, physically present, doing your duty, but mentally, you are always thinking of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And this is what Bhagavan Shri Krishna also advised Arjuna. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmaryuddecha mayarpit mano buddhir mam eveshyati asavashya. That Arjuna, though you have to fight, but then what you have to do? While performing your duty as a Kshatriya, you have to ensure that you are giving your mayarpit mano buddhir. Give me your mind, give me your intelligence. How do we do that? Means we always engage in our thoughts in Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And also in Srimad Bhāgavatam, Tasmat Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvara Hari Shortavya Kirtivascha Smartavya Chetatavya. Means we have to always Shortavya, hear Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Kirtavascha, Kirtitavascha means Kirtigan, Bhagavan ke Kirti, we have to glorify Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And Smartavascha, Smriti, always remember. So that's very, very important, that we always engage ourselves in these activities. So we continue here. So those who are in the spiritual world are known to be completely self-realized, because on the spiritual platform, the living entity is not forgetful of his service to the Lord. Therefore, in the spiritual world, all those who are in the devotional service of the Lord are eternally fixed, for they understand the position of the Supreme Lord as well as their individual constitution. But Jive Swarupa, Krishna Nityadas, we are eternally servants of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And much more than that, Mahaprabhu has mentioned that we are not only eternal servants of Lord Shri Krishna, but also servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. Several times servant of the servants of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. If we say that we are servant of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, sometimes Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, no, you failed. Go and serve my servants. Kintu pradhan nikhil parmananda punamridapte gopi bhardu pad kamarab das dasanudasa. हम लोग दास के अनुदास हैं. So we have to assume that position, that we are servant of the servant of the servants of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. We cannot say that we are serving Krishna directly. So we are all servants of our spiritual masters, and sometimes not even our spiritual masters, but the servants of our spiritual masters. And as mentioned earlier, if we want to have the darshan of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, many people say that we go to Krishna directly. Will Krishna accept us if you go to Krishna directly? No. We have to go through his representative. We have to go through the Guru. So it's very, very important also. Even if you want to read Shastra, so many people say, okay, I purchased the Srimad Bhāgavatam, I purchased Bhagavad Gita, a copy. I'll read at home, I'll understand Krishna. You'll never be able to understand. You need to have the blessings of the spiritual master. As mentioned in Shveta Shvata Upanishad, Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru. Tasyate kathitayaka prakrashanti mahatmana. Means, only to those who have unflinching faith unto both the spiritual master and Lord Shri Krishna are the imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So it is revealed in our heart. How? By Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself, who is there in our heart, inside the Chaitya Guru, and from without, means from outside, the spiritual master is guiding us. So we need the help of both. We can't just say, and those sometimes they say, no, I only believe in Guru. Guru is only Guru is everything. I don't need anyone else. But that also sometimes becomes offensive. We need both Guru and Golokānanda. Bhagavan Shri Krishna or unke jo pratinidhi, the representative. So the position, this is what the spiritual master makes us understand. That we have to Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This is what the spiritual master always teaches us, that we are eternal servants of the Lord and we have to be eternally engaged in the service of the Lord. So we continue here, therefore in the spiritual world, all those who are in the devotional service of the Lord are eternally fixed, for they understand the position of the Supreme Lord as well as their individual constitution. We have our individuality. हम लोग भगवान से एक नहीं बने, भगवान में जाकर लीन होकर एक नहीं बन सकते हैं. So many people think, I want to become one with Bhagavan, I want to become one with God, I want to attain Sayujya Mukti. But Sayujya Mukti, Hare Krishna, Sayujya Mukti is the most, we should say, hated kind of liberation for devotees. Devotees don't like that kind of liberation. Why? Because you lose your individuality. So that's why even if you are Mukti Kami, you want to get liberated, maybe depending on your service, Krishna is going to give you the other 4 types of Muktis. 5 types of Muktis, but then Sayujya Mukti is already crossed. Devotees don't like too much to hear about Sayujya Mukti, as explained by Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, Kaivalam Narakayate, that Sayujya Mukti is just like Narak, just like hell. Because a devotee wants to keep his individuality first of all, obviously. And we are all individuals, we have to serve the Lord. If you lose your individuality, you become one with Bhagavan, how will you serve the Lord? If we say we are eternal servants of the Lord, you need to have your individuality. You need to have your worshipable deity so that you can serve. But if you become one with the Lord, how will you serve? So that's why devotees are not so much interested in Sayujya Mukti. But then sometimes, depending on the situation and the service, so Lord Shri Krishna, out of his countless mercy, he bestows the other 4 types of liberation, which are Sarukya Mukti, Sarupya Mukti, Sarashti Mukti, and Samipya Mukti. So devotees, as we mentioned earlier, they're not so much interested about liberation. So if it comes from the Lord, then some devotees might accept, but mostly devotees want to serve. Boli Hare Krishna, Boli Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thus, among self-realized souls, the Lord is known as the perfectly self-realized soul. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetananam. So when the individual soul is fixed in his knowledge of the Lord as the Supreme Being, he actually becomes established in an all-auspicious position. So Bhagavan Ji is always auspicious. That's why we call Bhagavan as Hari. Sarva Amangal Hare Iti Hari. We call Bhagavan as Hari because he is always taking away all our inauspiciousness. So that's why he has mentioned that the Supreme Being, he becomes established in all auspicious position. Means if someone is fixed in his knowledge. So Lord Shiva prays herein that his auspicious position continue eternally by virtue of the Lord's mercy upon him. So who is glorifying Bhagavan Sri Hari here? Who is glorifying Bhagavan Sri Krishna? Is Lord Shiva. And it's very interesting to understand, to learn here, that Lord Shiva himself, he keeps, Lord Shiva we know is immortal. This is the question that Parvati Mata once asked Lord Shiva. That my Lord, this is a very long pastime, but then we are not going to go too much into that. We have long purport, we have to continue. But then the question that was asked by Parvati Mata was, my dear Lord, why are you wearing, Mundamala, a garland of skulls? Then Lord Shiva explained to Parvati Mata that, my Priya, hey Devi, ये मुंड माला किनका है? ये सब मुंड आप ही का है. They all belong to you only. Each time you have left this body, I have taken that skull and have put in this munda mala. Because you're very dear to me. That's why. But then Parvati Devi asked Lord Shiva, but then if I have left my body several times, then what about you, my Lord? You seem to be immortal. And he said, yes, I'm immortal. What is the reason behind your immortality? Then Lord Shiva explained that I'm always immersed in the pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna. Means I'm always immersed in Sri Hari Katha. I'm always immersed in the narration and the recitation of Srimad Bhāgavatam. So that's why it's very, very important. This is the secret. You have to be always, engaged in the service of Srimad Bhāgavatam. So that's why here Lord Shiva is praying again that his auspicious position continue eternally by virtue of the Lord's mercy upon him. So can you imagine, Lord Shiva is praying here. He's praying to Lord Shri Krishna that he continues to be at his service. And the secret we just mentioned, we have to be always be engaged in Hari Katha. Shravan Kirtanam Smaranam Vishnu. Now the Supreme Lord is all perfect, and the Lord instructs that one who worships him also becomes perfect. So all the devotees of the Lord, this term, when we talk of perfection, many times people think, we think on the relative platform. We want to compare ourselves with others. How do we consider ourselves to be perfect in some activity or in some position? If someone has won the Mr. Universe title, does it mean he's perfect in his, bodybuilding and all that? No one can be perfect in this material world except pure devotees of the Lord. तो जो शुद्धता से भगवान जी के भक्ति में लगे रहते हैं, तो वो लोग उस स्तर पे आ सकते हैं. They come to the level of perfection. So that's why here, Srila Prabhupada has written the purport. The Supreme Lord is all perfect, and the Lord instructs that one who worships him also becomes perfect. So it's a process, it takes time, but then that's what Srila Prabhupada mentions. So chant Hare Krishna, obviously be happy and make your life perfect. To make our life perfect. So as stated in Bhagavad Gita 15.15 is here. Matas Vritir Jnanam Pohanam Cha. The whole verse is Sarvas Chaham Vridi Sannivishto Matas Vritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. Vedeste Sarvas Aham Eva Vidyo Vedant Vrid Vedavid Eva Chaham. That Bhagavan explains that he is there in everyone's heart. Sarvas Chaham Hridis Sanne Vishnu. मैं सबके हृदय में हूँ. Mata smritir jnanam apohanam. From me comes remembrance. Smriti jnanam, from me comes knowledge, and apohanam, also forgetfulness. तो कभी कोई बोलता है प्रभु मैं भूल गया, प्रभु मैं ये कुछ कार्य, I was doing this and I just forgot. From where you are forgetting? Forgetfulness is coming from Bhagavan Shri Krishna. He is there in your heart. And the most or the worst thing that we can do to ourselves is when we forget Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And who is going to give us that forgetfulness? Bhagavan Krishna himself. He is there in our heart. He knows what is our motives. He knows what is our agenda. So if our agenda is not to serve him, then what is going to happen? He'll make us forget him. Simple. As simple as that. So the Lord is situated as the super soul in everyone's heart, but he is so kind to his devotees that he gives them instructions by which they may continue to progress. We'll see that it has come in Bhagavad Gita. If you read the Chatur Shloki, it's mentioned here. When they receive instructions from the All-Perfect, there's no chance of their being misled. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam payanti. Satatam. We know the shloka? We have done that several times, Chatur Shloki. Tesham saratayuktanam bhajatam priti purukam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam payanti te. This is 10.10. The very. To those who are devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So who gives the understanding? Bhagavan Shri Krishna. He calls you back home. He reclaims you back. So the Lord is always ready to give instructions to the pure devotee so that the devotee can advance further and further in devotional service. Since the Lord gives instructions as Sarvatma, the super soul, Lord Shiva offers him respect with the words Sarvatma Atmane Namaha. Like we see the last line. Sarvatma Atmane Namaha. So the individual soul is called Atma, and the Lord is called Atma as well as Paramatma. So soul and super soul. He is the Supreme Atma. Being situated in everyone's heart, the Lord is known as the Supreme Atma. Therefore, all obeisances are offered unto him. In this regard, one may refer to the prayers of Queen Kunti in the first canto of Srimad Bhāgavatam. यहाँ पे कुंती महारानी के जो the prayers by Queen Kunti. 1.8.20 तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनां मलात्मनां भक्ति योग विधानार्थम कथम पश्येन ही स्त्रियः. तो कुंती माता हमेशा ही प्रार्थना करती रहती है. When Bhagavan Shri Krishna was leaving for Dwarka, then after the Mahabharata episode was over, so the Lord said it's time for him to go back to Dwarka. But then Kunti Maharani, what was the prayers? ये जो कुंती महारानी की जो स्तुति है, कौन सी स्तुति की थी? So there are lots of beautiful verses there, how we can glorify the Lord. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki. We done that several times. बोल दी साथ में. Devaki Nandanaaya च, Nanda Gop Kumaraya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. ये कुंती महारानी बोल रही है. We have to do that. And lots of beautiful prayers. There's also how she glorifies the Lord and his beautiful bodily features. Nama Pankaja Nabhaya, Nama Pankaja Maline, Nama Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangare. This is a very beautiful prayer by Kunti Maharani. When she starts glorifying, and she starts glorifying us on the lotus navel. Pankaj means navel, not navel, sorry, means lotus. Pankaj. So now she starts with Namah Pankaj Nabhai. भगवान जी का जो नाभि है कमल के फूल की तरह है, soft and beautiful. Then she goes to the mala, Maline. Namah Pankaj Maline. And the mala made of lotus flowers. And then Nama Pankaja Netraya, the beautiful eyes of Bhagwan. If you see Shri Radha Golokānanda, his lotus eyes. भगवान जी के लिए हम लोग कहते हैं सब उनका जो है सब पद्म की तरह है. They are all just like lotus. Lotus eyes, lotus feet, even the lips, just like the lotus flower. So this is how she was glorifying Bhagwan. But in this prayer here, 1.8.20, she's praying, the Lord is always ready to give instructions to the Paramhamsa, or the topmost devotees of the Lord, who are completely liberated from all contaminations of the material world. So this is very, very important qualification. यदि आप चाहते हैं, कितने लोग बोलते हैं क्या प्रभु जी, क्या भगवान जी आपसे, भगवान जी को आपने देखा है कभी, क्या भगवान जी कभी आपसे बात किए हैं? Yes, Bhagavan ji talks to us, but provided you give him the chance to talk. And how do we give the chance to Bhagavan to talk to us? Is by becoming his devotee. Then only he is going to reciprocate from inside. So the Lord is always ready to give instructions to the Paramhamsa. Paramhamsa कौन है? ऐसे उत्तम अधिकारी जो भक्त हैं, उनको Paramhams कहते हैं. So they are always, always in connection with the Lord. So the topmost devotee of the Lord were completely liberated from all contaminations of the material world. So till we don't get rid of these contaminations of this material world, it's most of the time very, very difficult. Probability that Bhagavan Shri Krishna is going to reciprocate is very less if you are always, on this platform of contamination. So what we have to do then? Being in this world, we should not be of this world. This is the meaning. We are in this world, but then we are not of this world. दुनिया जो भी कर रहे हैं, दुनिया को करने दो. हमको क्या करना है? हमको प्रभु की भक्ति करनी है. We have to do bhakti. And bhakti, as we mentioned earlier, is not only कोई सोचते हैं भक्ति. They have different definitions of bhakti. But our Shastra has given definitions of bhakti. What is bhakti? One of the definitions is to engage our senses in the service of the master of the senses. Rishikena Rishikesha Seva. Sarvapadhi Vinirmuktam. Here also is mentioned. Sarvapadhi Vinirmuktam. We have to be free from all upadhi, from all titles. If you are too much attached to some title, we owe you respect. Someone might have earned his title like a doctor or like a, magistrate, lawyer. So they are too much attached to these titles. But then if you don't get, rid of these titles, Sarvopadhi Vinil Muktam, जब से उसे मुक्ति नहीं पाएंगे, तत्परत्वे निर्मलम, we have to get rid of these titles and then only we can become nirmal, purity. Tatparatve nirmalam, we have to follow the rules and regulations given by our previous acharyas, our spiritual master. Then only we are going to engage. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. Then we get into the service of the master of senses, Rishikesh, by offering him our senses. Bhakti Uchyate. This is a definition of bhakti. That we have to engage our senses in the service of the Lord. So we continue with the prayer of Kunti Maharani. The Lord always gives instructions to such exalted devotees to inform them how they can remain fixed in devotional service. So there are so many connections here. Like we mentioned earlier, Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanancha. How does a devotee maintain himself to be always in the service of the Lord? So this knowledge, this remembrance comes from Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself. That's why whenever you want to pray, there are several types of prayers, but one of the important prayers is that, my dear Lord, kindly bestow your mercy so that I never forget you. That apohanam, please take it away. Apohanam means forgetfulness. May I always remember you. That's why we say in simple words, always remember Krishna and never forget him. So similarly it is stated in the Atmaram verse, very, very important verse. In Srimad Bhāgavatam, 1st canto, chapter 7, text 10. This is one of the verses that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he met Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, after so many days that Bhattacharya has been explaining to Mahaprabhu about, what is Vedanta Sutra, and so many. He was thinking he was giving Vedic knowledge. To whom? To the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahaprabhu. Then he asked Mahaprabhu, you didn't say anything. I give you so many instructions about, all this Vedic literature. Did you understand? Did you understand what is Vedanta Sutra? And then Mahaprabhu said, what is Vedanta Sutra? I understand. But whatever you told me, I didn't understand at all. Not a single word I could understand. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a Mayavadi. He was, yes, a Bhattacharya. He was very, very knowledgeable. But then Mahaprabhu, you see again, this is another kind of upadhi, title. Bhattacharya. Means you are very, very learned. And there was a discussion about this Atmaram Shlok that we are going to just read here. So he explained Mahaprabhu about the Atmaram verse. But Mahaprabhu did not even bother. He gave around 8 different, versions of the Atmaram verse. Mahaprabhu gave him first time 8 again without touching his definitions and gave it twice, 16 times. And there's another chapter in Madhya Leela, the 24th chapter. It's about the Atmaram verse only. 61 ways that Mahaprabhu has explained what is the Atmaram verse. So important it is. So we just read this. Atmaramascha munayo nirgantha api urukrame kurvanti ahitukim bhaktim iddham bhuta guno hari. Very, very important verse. So Atmaram, Bhagavan is Atmaram, means he is happy in himself, self-satisfied. Atmaram. But the word Atmaram refers to those who are not interested in the material world, but are simply engaged in spiritual realization. When Srila Prabhupada has written his purport on this verse, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that, you have several categories of self-realized souls. Those who are walking on the path of spiritual realization. Even the Mayavadis are on that path, but then they are not properly situated, because where they fail is that when they say that the Lord has no form. This is the only fallacy in their philosophy. When Mahaprabhu was in Kashi, there was the head of the Mayavadi sannyasis, Srila Prakashananda Saraswati. And he's been preaching about, that Bhagwan ka koi roop nahi hai, Bhagwan ji nirgun hai, Bhagwan ji ka koi swarup nahi. Then Mahaprabhu was at that time, he was residing at the residence of Kashi Mishra. And then Mahaprabhu is saying, that fool, that idiot, that rascal, Prakashananda Saraswati is just killing me, saying that I don't have any form. Just imagine, Mahaprabhu is Sakshat Radha and Krishna. They have come to this world to give us Hare Krishna. They have come, he has come in this world to, I would say they both in one, 2 in 1. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna nahi anya. So it's 2 in 1. They have come to give us this message of love of God. That Bhagavan has such a beautiful form, Satchidananda Vigraha. Brahmaji also mentioned that Bhagavan Shri Krishna has his Parameshwara, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. He has such a beautiful form. And yet, when Prakashananda Saraswati was saying that Bhagavan has no Swarup, then this was the reaction of Mahaprabhu. That how he is killing me means, saying that the Lord has no beautiful form, has no form. Anyway, we come back to our shlok here. The word Atmaram refers to those who are not interested in the material world but are simply engaged in spiritual realization. Such self-realized persons are generally considered in two categories. That's what here, impersonal and personal. So even Mayavadis are counted as in the categories of those who they want to go for perfect self-realization. However, impersonalists also become devotees when they are attracted by the personal transcendental qualities of the Lord. This is the essence of this Atmaram verse. Bhagwan ji mein itne gun hai, the last line, Itham bhuto guno hari. Bhagwan ji mein itne gun hai, so many qualities that Bhagwan has, that he even attracts these self-realized souls. He attracts them. That's why even in Srimad Bhāgavatam, in the beginning, the first canto, first chapter, the third verse, Nigam kalpataro, galitam phalam, sukh mukad amritam dravsmit, pivat bhagatam rasamalayam, muraho rasika bhuvi bhavka. The rasika, they are already liberated, they are already paramahans, but they are enjoying that nectar of Srimad Bhāgavatam. Pivat bhagatam rasamalayam. This is what Paramahamsa are always eager to do Katha Shravan, to hear about Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is what Lord Shiva also wants, to be always immersed in the thought, in the pastimes of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So the conclusion is that Lord Shiva wanted to remain a fixed devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. As explained in the following verses, Lord Shiva never desires to merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord, like the impersonalists. This line is very, very important. Does Shiva want to become one with Bhagavan Shri Krishna? No. He wants to keep his individuality so that he can still continue to serve Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So already, a kind of warning to the impersonalist that if Lord Shiva, the personality who came as Adi Shankaracharya to preach Mayavad philosophy, he mentioned Mayavad Asat Shastra is not true Shastra. He is explaining to Parvati Mata that in Kali Yuga I'll appear as a Brahman and I am going to preach this philosophy of Mayavad. The purpose was there because Buddhism was doing so much, taking people astray, because people were too much engaged in animal slaughter. Then Buddhism came. Then after Buddhism, we see that Sripad Adi Shankaracharya had to come to do this service. In Padma Purana is explained already why he came as Sripad Adi Shankaracharya to preach Mayavad philosophy also. All that is explained there. So Lord Shiva, he thinks that it would be good fortune for him to continue to be fixed in the understanding of the Lord as the Supreme Being. That's why we, in Srimad Bhāgavatam, the concluding verses, we have, that's in the 11th canto. Nimna Ganam Yata Ganga, Devanam Achyutayata, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho, Purananam Idam Tata. Out of all the holy rivers, Ganga is the topmost. Among all the Devas, Achyuta, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the topmost. Among the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambho, Shivji is the topmost Vaishnava. Purananam Idam Tata. And among all the Purana, the Srimad Bhāgavatam is the topmost. So we see here, everyone has their own respective position. So by this understanding, one realizes that all living entities, including Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and other Devta Devis, are servants of the Supreme Lord. So when we start even the glorification in the last canto of Srimad Bhāgavatam, last chapter, 13, text 1. Yam Brahma Varurendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyastavai. So we see in this shlok, in the first line, all the Devta Devis, they are glorifying whom? Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Even our Ved, all the Pad Krama Upanishad, all the Upanishad, all the Agama, they are all glorifying Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And even the Rishi Munis are glorifying Bhagavan Shri Krishna in some way or the other. So, this was a very beautiful purport, long purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada, and it makes clear several points. So, we'll just read the verse again. Boli Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Shri Rudra Uvacha, Jitam ta Atma Vidyavarya, Swastaye Swastirastu me, Bhavata Radhasaradham, Sarvasma Atmane Namaha. So we'll read the translation again. So Lord Shiva addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead with the following prayer. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glory is unto you. You are the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by virtue of the all perfect instructions you give. You are the soul. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you are the Supreme Living Being. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhāgavatam ki, Shri Rudra Geet ki, Golokānanda. Hare Krishna. So, any questions? Mataji, something you would like to add?
Such a beautiful class.
Thank you, Mataji. Keep showering your blessings. Hare Krishna. You would like to add something, Mataji? You would like to add something? No? Any questions, Prabhuji? Koi prashna? Devesh Prabhu? Dayali Vishwabhanu Prabhu?
Yes, one question. On the cosmic manifestation, what happened to Lord Shiva?
Lord Shiva. Oh, Jai. Yes, this is a very important question and it's already there in the Srimad Bhāgavatam. You know, it's like at the time of Pralay, when Lord Shiva, he's in charge of Pralay, right? Like Brahmaji is in charge of creation, maintenance by Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, and the Pralay or the destruction. So who is in charge? Lord Shiva. And we see that's why Lord Shiva is always in meditation. He's always meditating on his Ishtadev, Lord Shankarshan. And he's waiting actually for the instructions to come and do his Tandav. Because as creation was done by Lord Krishna's flute, he gave the instructions to Lord Brahma. And we know that was given in only 4 shlokas, the Chatur Shloki of Srimad Bhāgavatam. 2933 to 36. So, he started with Dhvani. And Lord Shiva also is going to do his pralay. The last portion of his mission is going to be again through Dhvani. And he's going to play on his damru and do his tandu. Now pralay means the end of the cosmic manifestation. And then after that, they all go back to Bhagavan. It's mentioned in some previous purports, you'll see that those who are pure devotees of the Lord, they, within this one birth, they can be promoted to Sri Golokānanda and go and serve Bhagavan Sri Krishna. But Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and the other Devata Devis, they go back to Godhead after Pralaya, when this is over. And then again they'll come back. Because they are all parts and parcel of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. They are not independent. If we think that, what is the second offense that we read every morning? To consider names of demigods like Brahma, Lord Shiva to be equal to or independent of the holy names of Lord Vishnu. They are not independent. They are all parts and parcel of Bhagavan. So they are not different. But we just have to understand that they are not the supreme.
They also purport the universal form.
Yeah, they are in the universal form. When you see the universal form, don't you see Bhagavan Sri Krishna and then all these different heads? And one of the heads you'll see there is Lord Shiva there. So they are all parts of this, of the supreme, of the beautiful Satchidanand Vigraha of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. But they have some specific role. And we should also not forget that Sadashiv is Vishnu Tattva. Because when we see, when you cross the Virja Nadi, so between this material world and spiritual world, there's the connection, there's the Mahesh Dham. So the Mahesh Dham is divided into two parts. If you see the Goloka chart, it's divided into two parts. One part below is shown as black and the upper part is shown as white. So this is the Sadashiva Lok. Sadashiv is Vishnu Tattva. But then when he comes to this material world, so through the glance of Bhagavan Sri Hari, you have Lord Shiva, and when that ray goes through Lord Shiva, there is the manifestation of Prakriti, there is the manifestation of Durga Devi. And this is how they take care of this material world. Mentioned in Brahma Samhita also that the difference between Lord Sri Hari, Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Lord Shiva. So, the reaction. If you put some lemon in milk, what happens? So milk turns into yogurt. But then can you take yogurt back to milk? You can't. So this is how it's explained that this is the Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva also. Achintya. It's inconceivable, one and different. So at some point, some people say, okay, so there's no difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. There's no difference. They're one. But Achintya Bhed Abhed, but there's difference also. Because in terms of their services. So Lord Shiva has a specific service, and this is also Guna Avatar, and he is in charge of the mode of ignorance. But that doesn't mean that he's in ignorance. Many people get confused. No, like Brahmaji is in charge of the mode of passion, creation. So Lord Shiva, he is in charge of the mode of ignorance. And he is the only deity who takes care of all these different ghostly spirits. No one takes care of them. They also deserve to get liberated. Or do they have to be nitya bad? And we say rot in hell for, so many eons or whatever. No. They are also given chance. That's why Lord Shiva is called Bhuteshwar Mahadev. He is the Ishwar of Bhutas. Now Bhut doesn't only mean ghostly or, ghost, all those spirits, but then Bhut means jivas. But especially when you talk about Bhutnath, Bhuteshwar Mahadev, he does a very, very important service. This is about Vrindavan Mahatmya, Vrindavan Dham. It's mentioned in Vrindavan Mahatmya that if someone, if someone is born in Vrindavan Dham, He's born in Vrindavan Dham. But then, by the arrangement of providence, he had to leave Dham and he had to go somewhere else. Let's say go to US, goes to UK. Still, at the end of his life, he is going to be promoted to Golokānanda. Because being born in Vrindavan Dham, not everyone is born in Vrindavan. You also have, if someone is doing some important samskar, he takes his Brahman Diksha, or he does the Upanayan samskar in Vrindavan Dham. Any samskar, he is also promoted to Sri Golokānanda. Like this. Now, for someone who never did bhakti in his life, you may have someone who has never done bhakti in life. Now he just passes away, he's dead. Now, by good fortune, his children might have come to Hare Krishna temple, heard some class about the importance of Vrindavan Dham, and say, okay, let's take the shav, the dead body of our father, to Dham. It was mentioned, if you go there, do the Antyeshti Samskar, he might be elevated to, he might get salvation, he might get mukti. So they do that. But how does this happen? So this is how it's explained how Bhuteshwar Mahadev comes into action. That person has never done any bhakti in his life. Now he goes to Dham, they bathe him in the Yamuna and they do the Antyeshti Samskar. Then Bhuteshwar Mahadev takes that Atma and ties him to his feet. And Bhuteshwar Mahadev is always doing Vraj Mandal Parikrama. Every day he is doing Vraj Mandal Parikrama. So when he is doing Vraj Mandal Parikrama, what's happening? So all those souls who have been tied to his lotus feet, they are being what? If you tie something in your foot, and you walk, just like you are wearing your shoes, right? And the laces are just like loose. What happens to the lace? What will happen? It will accumulate dust, right? When you walk on the road. But there in Vraj Dham, they are going to get Vraj Dhuli. So who is getting that Vraj Dhuli? Those Atma who had never done any bhakti. So Lord Shiva is purifying them. And after purifying them, then Lord Shiva is going to ensure that this soul is being put in the womb of a devotee, of a Vaishnavi. And then that person is born in the house of a Vaishnava. Then he is going to start his bhakti. Then he will go to Krishna. He's not going to go to Krishna without doing any service. Service should be there. That purification should be there. So this is how Bhuteshwar Mahadev helped these ghostly spirits to at least to be elevated. Now, he also had another role for those who are not following rules and regulations. He's going to put those Atma in the womb of those mothers. That's why it's mentioned that if there's a couple, they want to, they want to conceive. So there's a time for conception. It's not that you conceive any time. Definitely not at the time of Sandhya. There is the pastime of Diti and Kashyap Muni. So that's okay, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna. We have so many things to add, but then I think we should stop here. Hare Krishna. The Grantaraj Srimad Bhāgavatam ki, Jadguru Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Rudra Gita ki, आप सभी उपस्थित